Greetings, beautiful Pisceans. I'm doing your water well reading. Again, I didn't realize after uploading it that, in fact, the sound, my microphone, had dropped off. So we're doing the water well for you today. So thank you for joining me here at the Lightroom forecast. So we're looking at the general waves around you. I guess it's a love reading. That's love comes in many forms and under many different names. So we're just looking at general currents over January for you, lovely Pisceans. So let's get an overarching energy card for you at this time from the journey map deck, and then we'll go into choices, challenges, and traits for ease. We have overarching energy. We have preparation card. Now, of course, this reading is focused on what's happening in terms of matters of the heart. So we have contemplate and cut back. This is sort of preparation time, as we see, but so I just get the general idea here that you're creating a little nest of sorts in preparation for something here, something new coming in. One would imagine that need to prepare the ground, get rid of extraneous things that you don't need, in some ways letting go of certain things that you don't need in preparation for this feeling of newness coming in, which is a feeling that I feel here. So let's see what's going on in your world, beautiful Neptunians, for the lovely Piscean choices at the moment. Certainly seems like you're making a choice to make a little bit of room for something new. Let's see if the cards pop or jump. Choices. What do we have? Choices. We've got a beautiful Four of Swords in the Thoth deck here. The Four of Swords is a card of, to all intents and purposes, a card of sort of kicking back, taking it easy. You've done some form of cleaning and clearing, and so the time now, it's a time of, what's the word? It's a time of repose. So your choice is really centered around largely healing, which is interesting. Maybe something's occurred in the recent past that's brought this about. And we're cruising in these waters, which are pretty deep and kind of, I was going to say dark. I don't mean that in any kind of negative way, but the waters are really pretty deep at the moment. So you're really giving yourself, if we're focused here on love in its many forms, you're giving it to yourself, which is a wonderful thing. The challenge card, I might keep shuffling here when we're looking at possible challenges here. challenges can also be advantages. So we're sitting in a place of sort of offering ourselves elements of healing, elements of rest. You know, maybe you've been there for others. Maybe you've been, you know, maybe in your circle or a collection of people have been relying on you. And maybe you're just catching up with yourself. You need some rest time. You need some recuperation. You need to generate some for yourself here. A little bit of self-love never goes astray. So in the card for challenges, we see the 9 of Wands. Traditionally, it's a card of habits and habits of defense. So if habits of defense. Now, of course, this can be an advantage as much as it is a challenge, simply because it's knowing when to pull back. It's knowing when to allow yourself some breathing space. And if it has been a habitual pattern of behaviour to when you do feel like you're stretched, that people are asking maybe a little bit too much of you that you can give, that your habit may well in the past had been to react in a sort of defensive way. But clearly you're making a different choice. You're making the choice to give yourself space, to give yourself room, to give yourself some good self-care and self-nurture. So that's really amazing. Beautiful fishes, beautiful people. This is lovely. This is really lovely because it brings it back to base. It brings it back to you and your central core. And yeah, it's interesting. So now we look at traits for ease here, my dear Pisceans. Traits to embody for some ease. Which it looks like you're onto that already. Whoa, we've got 2 cards. Really jumped out. Excuse me, Piscean friends. Traits for ease. We get, firstly, we get the 8 of discs. There's something reminiscent about this reading. I just did the Time and Tides reading, and of course I always shuffle incredibly well and have a break in between readings, but the 8 of discs came up in that reading as well, in a sort of similar position, even though it was a different layout. So we get the 8 of discs. All the 8s are mental cards. They're mind cards of the mind. And the 8 of discs is about perfecting something and sometimes repeating something over and over again until you get the result that you want. It's a card of working, and it's a card of working hard. So in relation to this, the other card that popped out was the 6 of Wands, which is a card of winning. You've figured out the balance, and this is something that's so important in any in any area of life, it's something we're always striving for, isn't it? Balance. But we get the Six of Wands, which is a card of victory. The victor returns. It's a card of winning. It's a card of public recognition, but not for the fact so much that you won, as it were, but because of the level of service to others, of self-integrity that is required to be able to get to this level of the six. And the six is really, on the tree of life, the point of great harmony and balance here. So I think you've, in this sort of love currents, you've realized what you need yourself personally and how you can provide elements of what you need, but also you've worked away at it to figure out how you can balance the other with the me, is what I get here. So we'll just get a little bit of a we'll peel back the layer a little bit more with, what is it, this preparation that we see. Wow, preparation, all right. If we peel back the layer of this contemplation and cut back card, we get the moon. So we've had really a period, a moment of time where we've gone into our Neptunian depths, my dear friends. And speaking of balance, conscious mind, unconscious mind. We're getting new insights into where we and how we can balance of what we see, of what's clear to us and what's not. And of course, there are always things that are not clear, but sometimes they are illuminated. This is really interesting. We look at this choice card of what is, in effect, healing. Self-care and nourishment. Whoops, we've just got a whole, what was I going to say? Shaboodle. A whole avalanche of cards. A great lollop. We look at this. Self-care and nourishment is beautiful. You've really, by doing this, we see the Queen of Swords. This isn't a very Piscean card as such, and yet by exercising your ability to take time out when you choose, to take space when you choose, you're embodying this queen who understands not only truth and clarity around her, but within herself. It's pretty amazing. You've chosen your one sword and your personal sword of truth at this time in terms of love. And when I speak of love, I mean all sorts of relationships. It is love that makes the world go round. Excuse me. So we move into, from this point where this wonderful period of relaxation has allowed you to see what I would imagine are elements of your own personal truth, new understandings. in the challenge position, which was the 9. Let's peel back that little veil of the 9 of Wands, that habitual patterns of behaviour card, where we see, wow, 2 queens. We get the Queen of Discs. So you've fully understood this and how it plays out in your material, in your physical world. We get the Queen of Discs, this benevolent woman who really has elevated herself through wisdom, through generosity. And in this placement, instead of going on defense when she or he may feel stretched beyond limit in terms of what others are asking or what you expect from yourself, and going into defense mode, we see the Queen. She doesn't have to do that. So you upped your own levels of, what would you say, adeptness at being able to balance the outer with the inner. I think that's beautiful. And now, so there's a lot of growth, and to have 2 queens, we're really in a wonderful position, Pisceans, here. We're okay with not knowing some things and being in the watery depths. We rest in that. We sit in it. We learn things from it. So let's look at, we learn things from it, and we learn, that just popped out, we learn that basing decisions not on what we see, but on what we feel is intuitively our strength, very much so, and not to be overlooked. So now we look at the 8 of discs here. 8 of discs with the 6 of wands. 8 of discs, please. Whoops. 8 of discs. Wow. We get 6 of swords, moving to a calmer port. It would seem that this process of, is it such a word, adeptness, this process has allowed you this journey, and that you've gone with it, you've been comfortable within yourself. And there's also a level of hard work that's gone on here to get to this calmer place. And it is a calmer place. The 6 of wands, please, for beautiful Pisceans. The victory card, the winning card. The winning card. Just get one, see if one jumps. It's so hot here, but it's clouding over now. Victory. Yeah, you've understood. 2 queens and 1 king. That's pretty amazing. You know, this is going to, it's like a little journey here that that we're moving to to a place that actually we've chosen to go. Instead of being defensive, we've put our, what I hear is big girls' pants on, or big boys' pants on, with the 9 of Wands, the wounded sort of warrior, the defense card. We've put our big girl and boy pants on, and we've said, oh no, I will take on the qualities and learn these qualities of the Queen. This is what I have worked my way towards, and because of that, we move to calmer waters and present as a king. What it would appear if this was specifically about romantic love, I would get, and I do get the feeling that the Queen meets her king. But it's like this feeling that the Queen is as comfortable, in the watery depths as much as on top, as much as this king hovers quite easily on the surface of the water. And of course, a self-generating system, a cup that never runs dry. So there may well be that someone special that you've moved closer to, and at the same time, or because of your own choice to offer yourself a sustaining system, which is you providing nourishment for yourself, providing healing and rest. Knowing what you need has sort of allowed you to head towards this king. I find it amazing. That's really beautiful. It's an elevation and it's a mastery, dear Pisceans. And is there not really a more important time to be able to believe and to know that you can offer yourself sustenance in terms of nourishing yourself and healing, knowing what you need, time out, whatever it is, knowing what you need to regenerate and to restart those batteries, and just to give yourself a little bit of self-love, self-care. Because of that, we are elevated to different levels of understanding our own process, our own motivations, and welcoming this throne. And when we get to that throne, we realize that there's an equal standing with us. I think that's beautiful. I think it's a beautiful reading. There's a few things going on in there, or potentially a couple of things at least. But I think, beautiful Pisceans, you're in a very strong position at this present time. So I hope you found something in this reading, and have a wonderful next couple of weeks. On the 28th, 29th, we'll be doing Time and Tides. And if you would like to join me then, by all means do. So take good care, dear Pisceans, and Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Cheerio now.